Anko and I had been ready and waiting in the palace hall since sunrise. My stomach was already doing nervous flips. Escorting Princess Kaguya was a huge responsibility, even with Anko at my side. I'd gone over the planned route with the royal guard captain several times just to be sure. Then I triple-checked the carriage for Princess Kaguya, making sure it was roadworthy and secure. Not that I could spot sabotage if it was staring me in the face. That was Anko's expertise. The plan was for the princess to ride inside the carriage naturally, with a palace soldier as the coachman. I would ride ahead on horseback, scouting the path and keeping an eye out for trouble, while Anko guarded from behind. A royal steward, looking incredibly important, asked us to wait in the hall until Princess Kaguya finished breakfast. I was hoping we could leave before 8 o'clock. That way, we could make it to Sakuragi village by nightfall. Fortunately, Princess Kaguya was spotted approaching the hall at 7:30. Relief washed over me, even if it was quickly replaced by a fresh wave of nerves. Princess Kaguya of the Tsuki Kingdom, the royal steward announced as the princess arrived. I dropped to one knee and bowed deeply, trying to remember everything I'd learned about courtly etiquette. Anko followed suit behind me, giving a respectful greeting to Princess Kaguya. "Good morning, Your Highness," I said, trying to keep my voice from cracking. I bowed, acutely aware of my own awkwardness. "My name is Tadashi from the Masamune clan. It's an honor to accompany you to Fumo. I am tasked with escorting you to the Fumo Kingdom. My mentor, Anko Masamune, is a ninja academy instructor. She will accompany us in this journey. We will do our best to ensure your safety." Princess Kaguya, at 21, was 5 years younger than Anko. She wore a royal kimono with cherry blossom motifs, her long hair flowing gracefully. I knew from the whispers that Princess Kaguya was famous not only for her beauty, but also for her sharp mind and diplomatic skills. Princess Kaguya's voice when she spoke was surprisingly soft, yet it commanded attention. "Rise, Tadashi of the Masamune clan." Her gaze, sharp and assessing, lingered on me for a moment, sending a chill down my spine. Was I being too informal? She turned to Anko, a hint of impatience flickering in her eyes. "We should depart. Time is of the essence." After ensuring Princess Kaguya was comfortably seated in the cabin, we finally set off. Though I rode ahead, I tried to stay within calling distance of Princess Kaguya's coachman. I had made sure to tell the princess to inform us if she needed anything, but she remained silent for most of the day. By lunchtime, my stomach was rumbling. I stopped our group at a small park by a lake, figuring everyone could use a break. Approaching Princess Kaguya's carriage, I saw her through the cabin window. She was hunched over a stack of papers spread out on a small table beside her bed. The royal steward had informed me earlier that Princess Kaguya would be signing a trade agreement with the Fumo Kingdom. No wonder she looked so serious. When I knocked on the cabin door, the princess looked up, a flicker of annoyance crossing her face. "Pardon the interruption, Your Highness," I said. "Would you like to stop for lunch?" Princess Kaguya glanced at the window. "Oh, I haven't finished. There's still work to be done," she said. "Please go ahead if you wish to eat. There's no need to wait for me. I'll take lunch and dinner in the cabin. Please don't disturb me until then." "As you wish, Your Highness." I relayed Princess Kaguya's message to the coachman and Anko, trying not to let my relief show. Spending another hour in this tense silence wasn't exactly appealing. As the afternoon wore on, the sky rumbled, mirroring my stomach, and gray clouds rolled in, obscuring the sun. A chilly wind blew, sending leaves scattering across the path. Rain was coming. We were passing through the ruins of an old city when the first drops began to fall. It was a somber, almost eerie place, with crumbling stone walls and empty buildings that seemed to watch our every move. I gripped the hilt of my sword, my senses on high alert. A flash of movement on the hillside opposite us caught my eye. Before I could react, an arrow came whistling out of the shadows, aimed straight at the carriage. "Princess, watch out!" Anko shouted, her voice tight with urgency. I spun around, throwing 3 shuriken towards the source of the arrow. My heart hammered in my chest. There was no time to think, only react. The shuriken hit their mark with a sickening crunch of bone. Through the gloom, I saw a skeletal figure crumble to the ground, its skull split in 2. Skeleton monsters. What else could go wrong? I didn't have time to ponder the question. The carriage door flew open, and Princess Kaguya peeked out, her eyes wide with alarm. "What's going?" Another arrow zipped past, narrowly missing the princess. Anko shoved her back into the carriage, throwing herself on top as more arrows clattered against the open door. One shrieked past my ear, embedding itself in the wooden frame inches from my head. "Anko!" I cried, my blood turning to ice. "I'm fine," she grunted, scrambling back to her feet. "Just a scratch. The princess is safe. That's what matters." But from the wince that flashed across her face, I knew it was more than a scratch. And we weren't out of danger yet, not even close. From the shadows of the ruined buildings and the undergrowth on the hillside, more figures emerged. Dozens of them, their skeletal forms rattling as they lumbered towards us, swords and axes clutched in their bony hands. We were trapped, the carriage wedged between the steep hillside and the crumbling wall of what was once a temple. They were going to overrun us. I didn't hesitate. "Protect the princess!" I yelled, leaping from my horse and drawing my sword. 2 skeletons rushed me. I met them head-on, my blade flashing. The sound of bone shattering was sickeningly loud. I ducked under a rusty axe, pivoted, and slammed a spinning kick into the chest of another attacker, sending it reeling. These creatures might be slow, but there were so many of them. I fought like a man possessed, my movements almost instinctive. Slash, parry, thrust. Every strike had to count. A blur of black shot out from the trees above, moving with a speed and agility the other skeletons lacked. This one was different. This one was dangerous. I shoved 2 more attackers aside, racing towards the carriage just in time to see the black-boned figure land on the roof. It was taller than the others, its skull crowned with a twisted circlet of gold. The Skeleton King. "Stay back!" I roared, putting myself between the creature and the carriage. The Skeleton King chuckled, a dry, rattling sound that sent chills down my spine. It leaped down, drawing a sword that gleamed with an unnatural light. We clashed, the air ringing with the sound of steel against steel. The force of its blow nearly knocked me off my feet. This creature was strong, stronger than I'd anticipated. I gritted my teeth, pushing back against its assault. Every parry, every thrust, sent tremors of pain shooting up my arms. I landed a few blows, but the creature was relentless. As if sensing my growing desperation, the Skeleton King let out a piercing shriek, and the other skeletons surged forward, drawn back into the fray. I was surrounded once more, my attention split between the relentless attacks and the looming threat of the king. Then I heard it, a scream. Princess Kaguya. "Anko!" Kicking a skeleton aside, I backflipped just in time to see the Skeleton King emerge from the overturned carriage. My heart lurched. Where were they? The Skeleton King turned, its empty sockets fixed on me. Then, from the wreckage of the carriage, I heard Princess Kaguya's voice. "Anko, please, wake up." Relief flooded through me. They were alive, but Anko was hurt. I had to end this. Now, the Skeleton King roared a challenge, and I met it head-on. Desperation surged through me. I wasn't going to last much longer against this beast. There had to be another way. My hand went to the hilt of my sword, the clan's ultimate technique, the Sword of Light. It could destroy creatures like this, I knew it, but I hadn't mastered it. Not yet. What choice did I have? I broke away from the Skeleton King, taking a deep breath. The sequence of movements for the technique flooded my mind, ingrained through countless hours of practice. Tadashi, our clan's ultimate technique isn't just about mastering the form. Anko's words whispered in my memory. I closed my eyes, focusing my will, drawing on every ounce of strength I had left. This had to work. It had to. Sword of light, I whispered. Hot energy crackled along my blade, but instead of bursting into the blinding light I'd hoped for, it flickered erratically, then died. I opened my eyes, a cold dread gripping me. The Skeleton King stood before me, a grotesque mockery of life. And it was smiling. It happened so fast. 1 minute it was standing there, the next it was a blur of motion. I didn't even see the blow that caught me squarely on the jaw. A wave of dizziness washed over me. My vision swam. No, not again. The agony that followed was blinding. I staggered, the taste of blood filling my mouth. But I clung to my sword, even as my knees buckled and the world tilted sickeningly beneath me. The Skeleton King wasn't finished. With a brutal kick to my stomach, it sent me flying backwards. I crashed into the stone wall, the air driven from my lungs. I lay there, gasping, my vision fading. My body throbbed with a pain so intense I thought I might pass out. I had failed. Again. My ears were ringing, the ground still trembling beneath my feet as I struggled to stand. The Skeleton King was gone. I swiped the rain from my face, vision slowly returning. In the distance, I could make out a few skeletal figures scrambling through the hills, fleeing from Princess Kaguya's carriage. Wait, why were they running? Could it be... My heart hammered against my ribs as I sprinted towards the carriage. The downpour a curtain of cold needles against my skin. The coachman slumped lifelessly on his seat, 2 arrows protruding from his back. His skin was already cold and clammy to the touch, tinged an unnatural blue. Poisoned, then. Panic seized me. Anko, she was hit by an arrow, too. I fumbled with the carriage door, only to find it locked from the inside. Your Highness? The monsters are gone. Please open the door. Silence. Then a click, and the door swung open, revealing a pale, shaken Princess Kaguya. Are you all right, Your Highness? My gaze swept over her, searching for any sign of injury. She offered a small nod, stepping aside to let me enter. Anko was slumped against the wall next to the bed, head bowed, eyes closed. Relief washed over me, momentarily eclipsing the fear. I dropped to my knees beside her. Her pulse was faint but steady. Thank the ancestors she was alive. A bruise was already forming on her temple. No doubt a parting gift from the Skeleton King. A bandage, clumsily applied, covered the wound on her arm where the arrow had struck. It was a graze, but... Princess Kaguya's voice trembled. She bandaged it herself. Before facing that monster, she swallowed something. A black marble. An antidote, she called it. I nodded, relief giving way to a grim understanding. Every Masamune carried those. A potent concoction, brewed by the clan's most skilled healers. She'll be fine, I reassured. More for my benefit than the princess's. She just needs time to recover. Princess Kaguya released a shaky breath. I glanced around the carriage. Papers from the table were scattered across the floor, some torn, some trampled underfoot. I winced, acutely aware of the puddles my soaked clothes were creating. You said they fled? The princess's voice was sharp now, laced with tension. I straightened, my gaze snapping up to meet hers. Princess Kaguya paced the small space, her agitation growing with each passing second. Her eyes darted repeatedly to the now empty table. What was it? What was she? Then it hit me. Why would the Skeleton King enter the carriage if not to harm the princess? Then why weren't you chasing after them? The princess's voice cracked like a whip. I flinched, the phantom pain in my gut flaring as if I'd been struck. They have the royal seal. Her face flushed crimson, hands clenched into fists. "You know," she continued, her voice tight with barely suppressed fury, "when your father and the academy head proposed you for this mission, I disagreed. I bowed my head, shame washing over me. Every word was a lash against my skin. But your father, he's the most loyal soul King Hanzo has. My father only agreed because of the trust he places in your clan." The air grew thick and heavy in my lungs. "Father, I've failed you. I've failed us both." "I didn't expect much," the princess spat, "but to think you would let them escape like that. Is this all the heir of the Masamune clan is capable of?" Silence descended, thick and heavy. The steady drumming of rain against the carriage roof was the only sound that dared fill the space between us. Finally, she drew a shuddering breath. "There are protective seals on it. They cannot use it without me." Her voice was calmer now, but the underlying current of disappointment cut deeper than any blade. "However, this delays everything. I cannot sign the treaty without it. While I can send word to my father and request a spare be sent, who knows how long King Fumo is willing to wait. It makes us appear incompetent, unable to even safeguard a simple seal. Do you understand?" Each word was a stone added to the growing weight in my stomach. "I understand, Your Highness," I murmured, my throat tight. "I'm sorry. I will find them." The urge to stay, to protect, warred with the desperate need to right this wrong. The monsters were gone. They had what they came for. It was unlikely they would return. Taking a deep breath, I reinforced the seal on the carriage door for good measure, then turned to leave. I'll begin my search immediately. Hours later, I returned empty-handed, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of bruised purple and angry red. The rain still fell, relentless and unforgiving, mirroring the storm raging inside me. "I haven't found any trace of them, Your Highness," I reported, my voice devoid of hope. "Enough." Princess Kaguya's voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "We will continue to the Fumo Kingdom. I will request assistance there. They will have more experienced guards at their disposal." I nodded numbly, bowing low. "As you wish, Your Highness." Thunder cracked overhead as I closed the carriage door, the sound echoing my own shattered confidence. The night stretched before me, vast and empty like the pit in my stomach. I had failed. And not just in protecting Princess Kaguya. I had failed to consider the importance of the seal, of the political machinations that swirled unseen beneath the surface. There were those who would benefit from this treaty's failure. I, blinded by my naive sense of duty, had played right into their hands. The elders wouldn't accept excuses. I had made a grave mistake, one that had angered the princess and tarnished the Masamune name. I drew a shaky breath, my chest aching with a weight of despair. Was it already too late? Would searching for the seal even matter now? Even if I found it, could I ever erase the disappointment in Princess Kaguya's eyes? Doubt gnawed at me. She wouldn't forget this, not easily. My clan, once trusted, was now branded unreliable in her eyes. Her curt words, her cold gaze. It was as if a chasm had opened between us. What could I do? The relentless rain offered no solace, only a chilling echo to the turmoil within me. I bit back a groan, my shoulders slumping under the immense burden of my failure. "Forgive me, Father. I have brought shame upon us all."